Hey everyone. Why being nice is getting us nowhere and has gotten us nowhere. I want to start this video off by defining what nice is, what the definition of nice is according to the modern day Merriam-Webster dictionary. The first definition is polite and kind. The second is pleasing and agreeable, appropriate and fitting, well executed. And the third, socially acceptable, well-bred, and virtuous, respectable. Okay, I'm not going to go any further with this, but I want to break down these three main definitions here. I want to break them down, and I want to explore this together. I want us to explore this together here on how being nice is such a destructive trait, a destructive characteristic, a destructive facade to be putting on in society, especially today. First, polite and kind. Now, these terms, being kind and being polite, are very societal. They're very constructed. Oh, be polite, be polite. Even if the individual that you're being polite to or being nice to or being kind to, even if these individuals or whatever you're speaking to, the audience that you're speaking to, they don't deserve that politeness. They don't deserve that kindness. What if perhaps your kindness and your niceness is reinforcing this idea that everyone should be nice? Is reinforcing this belief inside their head that they should feel happy and they should feel secure and safe and they should feel pleasure at all times. What if it's that? And I'm not saying that feeling safe and secure isn't something to be strove towards. It isn't something to strive towards. But it's dangerous. It's a very dangerous thing. You see, most people are striving towards safety and striving towards security at all times, and that's how they can commit such atrocities. That's why they can behave in such ways. That's why they can believe in things like government and they can enslave their fellow human beings, because they are striving to survive at all costs. But we walk around in this world, we walk around like everything's okay. Being nice, being nice, being nice. There's this conditioned, embedded, unconscious program when you walk by somebody in the street and you have this tendency to smile and look like you're a nice person because you are, right? You're trained to be a nice person. Person meaning persona, fake, facade, mask. You're not a person. You're pretending to be a person. So we all wear this smiley mask, and right, you can't even see the smiles anymore because there's a literal mask on people's faces. But you can still see the little eye squints and stuff like, oh, hey, hi, because we're afraid to feel what's beyond niceness. We're afraid to feel the opposite of this polite and kind and nice facade that we put on, the societal construct that society's peddled out for however many years to get us to conform and be automatons and make sure everyone's in line and not seeing the dirt and the grime and the chaos underneath it all, the reality underneath it all. So that's the problem with this first definition, is the polite and kindness definition. Is I can't stand these terms. Polite, kind, be nice. Make sure you're nice so people like us. It's not even about you being nice to somebody genuinely, right? Treating them with compassion and love and in connecting with these individuals. No. It's about, I don't want to feel pain. I don't want to be looked at as this evil wrongdoer. I don't want to be looked at as a bad person. I want to be looked at as a good person, a shiny robot. So I'm going to be putting on this nice facade at all times. And another thing that's very dangerous about this is when you grow up in a society that propagates this idea of niceness, of happiness, right? This illusion. You don't know how to feel anger. You don't know how to feel frustrated. You don't know how to perceive that emotion when it enters you, because it will enter you, because there will be things that will make you angry at your core. Seeing injustice, seeing, just evil, corruption, corrupted things happening on the planet every single day, right? A child beating, or a child beating an animal, or a mother beating their child, or whatever it is. You're going to see certain things, right? And depending on your level of awareness, you start seeing the news, and you start seeing, and everything's starting to get you pissed off. Everything starts to get you angry, because you're just like, God, this entire world is inverted. Everyone's asleep. Everyone's propagating this madness, giving new energy to the Leviathan that's controlling them and enslaving them all. So everything starts to piss you off. But if you're constantly in this constant, vicious, mental, psychological state of niceness and goodness, and I got to make sure everyone likes me, you don't know how to feel that emotion of anger. This emotion that they're trying to completely dissolve and do away with within the hearts of mankind. And that's why there's these femboys and this super weird androgynous thing taking place in the world today, where people are like, know much about it. I don't even know how to explain it. I don't even know how to articulate it. And when I can articulate it, I will be sure to make a video about it. But I walk around in my local town, in my local community, and I see all these feminized men. I see all these weird, energetic, conformist, sheepish guys with the big beards, because they're overcompensating for their inner lack of masculine energy. I'm seeing all these individuals that are attempting to be something that they're not. Be a cog in a machine, completely extinguishing their inner warrior. And it's really incredible to witness this and observe this and to see it and to be in the presence of it. And this is a direct result of this niceness facade that we are trained from birth to participate in, to embody. So let's move on to the next definition. The next definition, pleasing and agreeable. Okay? And this ties directly into what I said about the first definition. I want to be pleasing. I want to be agreeable. I'm just going to be agreeable and agree with everybody, with what everybody says. At least in person, I will. Right? When I get behind my keyboard, then I'm going to start, I don't agree with this, I don't agree with that, because it doesn't line up with my belief system. It doesn't line up with the way I was trained to see reality. You need to be pleasing, which implies pleasure, right? So this niceness, this facade of niceness, pleasure. I want to feel pleasure. I don't want to feel pain. I don't want to suffer. I want to do away with suffering completely. I don't want suffering. Suffering is the gateway to my enlightenment. Suffering is the gateway to my connection to source, connection to who I am, my power, the warrior. I don't want that. My responsibility. I don't want that. I want nothing to do with that. I want to feel pleasure all the time. So I'm going to come off as this pleasing, nice guy or nice girl, so I can feel pleasure all the time. So I can be pleasing. So I can be, and I'm going to be agreeable. Because if I'm not agreeable, then I'm not going to get that pleasure. That pleasure, those dopamine hits of getting those likes on the different social media platforms and being surrounded by these posses of religionists and, these individuals that are completely trapped, right? Completely trapped psychologically in this framework, this belief system of niceness. So this has to go away. This has to go away completely. And you almost feel bad. I mean, the society's like, in the human consciousness, this belief is so heavy. This belief is so massive that when you actually express genuine anger, it is so looked down upon. It is so foreign, because everyone's always so happy. When inside we're boiling. When inside we're dead. A lot of us, we're dead. And so we cover it up with layers of niceness, of status, of money, of all these different identities. And then we convince ourselves, it's incredible, the human mind. We convince ourselves that we are those identities, right? We convince ourselves that we are this nice individual. Oh, he's nice. Oh, she's nice. Oh, Jessica, she's nice. Oh, she's so nice. He's so nice. So we never get to feel the wrath of criticism. We never get to feel the direct, energetic uh, juiciness of of somebody clashing heads with us, so we can grow, sharpening our blade. Because everyone's just reinforcing the things that we're talking about. Everyone's just reinforcing our own beliefs about the world because everyone wants to be agreeable. And they just go, yeah, yeah. And they only go like this. They might disagree inside, but they go, yeah, yeah, yeah. So they can just talk about their own bullshit, right? These 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 conversations that I'm hearing when I'm going around in my local community or I'm going to the outdoor gym or whatever and I hear all these conversations when people walk by and people are talking about nothing. People talk about absolutely nothing. Look at that car over there. Oh, did you hear about this? Oh, my job, and talk about nothing, right? Just reinforcing this belief, just continuously reinforcing and reestablishing this belief about the world. And you got to surround yourself with other nice people that are going to reinforce that belief and be pleasing and be agreeable. And it's all facade. It's all bullshit. No real friends. We don't have real friends. We just have people that reinforce this idea. That's all it is. So the next definition, which is part of number 2, is appropriate and fitting. Now, appropriate according to who? Appropriate. What does that even mean? I'm not going to even get into this term appropriate, but I will get into fitting. Now, when I hear fitting, I think you are fitting into the machine. You are fitting into the framework of what society has laid down for you, right? You're following the orders. You're obeying the commands of the authority figures. You're doing everything the state and the government say. You're in that cozy belief system that you were trained to be in. You're conforming. You're not stepping out of line. And even if you are stepping out of line, you can still be this individual. I mean, it's either you're on this side of the spectrum of being nice, or you're a complete black sheep. And a sheep is still a sheep. You're a black sheep that projected all of these things, but doesn't know how to harness their energy. So they're just destructive individuals on the planet, which are quite necessary. And I would say there's a lot more intelligence behind these individuals than are behind the lollygagging, floaters, the dead walking around. But nonetheless, they're still both in boxes. They're still both completely stuck in these different ideas that they hold about the world. One accepts and one rejects, right? But the one who accepts is obviously accepting unconsciously, and the one that's rejecting is rejecting unconsciously. They don't know why they're doing it. They have no idea why they're actually doing it. They may have some ideas, but they're not consciously aware of the reasons behind their actions, their destructive tendencies. They're not aware of those. They're not aware of that. I'm talking about people that are, robbing people and, they end up in prison and jail, on the streets doing drugs, all of these things, right? They're rejecting they're just rejecting society completely because they're just like, fuck this world is fucked up. But they haven't even reached that state. They haven't even reached that state in consciousness to be aware that, oh, I'm doing this because I feel like the world is fucked up, right? A lot of them haven't. And I've lived around these individuals for a long time, and I myself was that type of individual for years. So you want to be fitting, you want to fit in. Well, that's what niceness is all about, fitting in. Being a fitting and good, clean, shiny, presentable, agreeable, pleasing individual. Always telling people what they want to hear. Always telling your neighbors and your parents and everybody what they want to hear. And when we do offer criticism, and we do offer a glimpse of our authentic self, it still comes off as inverted because we don't know who we are at all. Right? So when we do express anger, it's completely toxic because we don't know how to harness that flame. Most of us, a lot of us. Now, those of you that are watching this are probably much more conscientious than these people that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the vast majority of individuals. A part of why we reject this concept of anger is because the people that are expressing this anger are these black sheep, or are people that act nice all day and they bottle up this rage inside for so long, for years and years and years. And then they just explode. They're a ticking time bomb. They just explode everywhere. They have no idea how to harness that energy because they were never taught, because they never were interested in doing so, because they've been oblivious their whole life. So we have this bad taste in our mouth of anger because we were, beaten as children, because that's the classic projection of anger, right? The classic projection of a worldview or belief. And my child's not eating up this belief like they're supposed to, like I did when I was a child. So they're going to get beaten, feel the wrath of their unconformity. So you're just fitting in, right? This definition of nice, fitting. And because you're fitting in and you're not breaking the mold, you're not shattering the mold, which creates cracks. And, if you see humanity as a giant mold, right? This giant mold, and there's a mold. There's like an individuated mold for each human being. And you break out of that mold, right? You're 15, you're 25, you're 35, whatever. You start questioning your reality. You endure enough suffering. You become conscious of the suffering. And you say, holy shit, why am I suffering so much? Oh, maybe I should figure this out. Maybe I should dive into my psyche. Maybe I should dive into my being and seek out answers. Not even seek, just see, right? Feel. Maybe I should feel this out. Maybe I should feel this all the way through and see, oh, I'm the source of my suffering. Oh, okay. It's because the choices that I've made in my life. Getting back your responsibility. Maybe that happened, right? And you start to shatter the mold that you've been encapsulated and ingrained in for so long. You shatter the mold. And it creates ripples through the giant mold, the collective consciousness, the giant mold that we're all, most of humanity is trapped in. It creates cracks. You break out, it creates cracks, right? So if I'm here at this point, and then you're there, people everywhere, you break out, and it creates cracks and ripples in the human consciousness. And that itself is the energetic signature required for us to wake up collectively. We got to stop fitting in. We got to start doing things that are in opposition to the system itself. And I'm not talking about in a toxic way. I'm talking about rejecting the idea of authority and living as a sovereign being within yourself. I'm talking about living as a fully responsible, powerful creator on this planet, embodying that warrior energy that you came into existence to embody, especially if you're watching this right now. A lot of people came into this planet, it seems. A lot of people came to this planet to live this comatose automaton life, which isn't living. There's nothing to do with living. But it seems to me that consciousness decided to come into a body, to get microchipped, to go through this whole entire extreme technocratic hell. And you know what? They're not going to embody warrior energy. They're not going to break out of the mold. So we're here to express this gift that we have, to express this light from deep within, bring it to the surface, shine it, and it reaches the individuals that it needs to reach. It reaches the individuals that it is bound to reach. It's going to resonate with individuals. And for the individuals that aren't going to wake up, if they're in earshot, and even if they're not in earshot, energetically, on a quantum level, metaphysically, they're feeling it. The seeds are being planted. The reason that niceness is so toxic, the reason that niceness is such a horrible thing, It's this concept that has been so deeply ingrained in our psyche, in our psychology, that we must purge out, because it is it is it has gotten us to where we're at today, in this conformist, completely oblivious, stimulated, distracted, technocratic place, automatic place, lazy, self-loathing, just depressed, accepting. There are all these different things that are taking place right now. So we got to break out of the mold. And niceness is not breaking out of the mold. You're reinforcing a belief. You're reinforcing a belief that happiness is everything that we need to seek out, and and pretending like we should just be happy all the time. No, happiness is a concept that doesn't involve time. True happiness, which I wouldn't even say is happiness at all. I feel like happiness is a concept that is like you're constantly reaching for, but you never actually attain. I'll say, and this is just my own opinion, joy is the state that we can feel, and that does not involve time. Joy is a state that we feel directly in the moment, from living in alignment and letting go of false notions and letting go of beliefs and opening our mind and expanding our consciousness and our awareness and reintegrating our power and reawakening the flame warrior within, and breaking the fucking mold. All right. Definition number 3, socially acceptable and well-bred. Okay. To be nice is to be socially acceptable and well-bred. And what this term well-bred in this context implies is not the elitist, eugenics portion of the bloodline, this perfect bloodline, the top, the 1% or the less than 1%, the ones at the top of the pyramid, and they're the ones that have the good blood and the good genes and the reptilian blood or whatever it is. I'm not talking about that. Or I don't think this definition isn't implying that. I'm talking about people that are socially acceptable. They are falling in line. They're doing they're doing exactly what the system wants them to do. They're following the orders. They're paying the taxes. They're getting the vaccines. They're perfect robots. They're going to get the chip. They're going to get this. They're going to get that. They're going to get whatever the system, the government, the politicians, whatever. They're going to get and do whatever the hell the system wants them to do. That's basically, in a nutshell, what this socially acceptable, what being socially acceptable implies. And again, it's a facade. It's this facade of niceness, being socially acceptable, being clean all the time, being tidy, being nice, being this, being that, smiling, making sure that everyone likes you, making sure that you're agreeable, making sure that you're pleasing, making sure that you're being appropriate, you're fitting in to the mold perfectly. You're not rattling at all in the mold. You're not shaking at all in the mold. You're perfectly still in the mold, exactly how they want you to be. Now, there's one more. Virtuous and respectable. Now, the term virtue has nothing to do with being nice, and that's my personal opinion. That's where I'm coming from with this. The term virtue means morally excellent, righteous, right? And that in and of itself is a very kind of crude definition for virtuous, or just a crude word in general. Morally excellent. What does that mean? What does that imply, right? Who's morally excellent? Aren't you just moral? Just living a moral life, just living in alignment with the laws of morality, living in alignment with natural law, being a moral individual, not hurting other people. Respectable. This individual is worthy of respect, decent or correct in character or behavior. Again, it all ties back into everything that I've talked about in this video. Being respectable, being this individual who comes off as this completely fake facade that tricks everybody into believing that they are the identity because they want reinforcement, right? They want their identities reinforced. They want respect. So we treat other people with respect because we ultimately want respect. not the other way around. Not because we exude this incredible energy, we exude this incredible power that turns heads and gets people like, whoa, what's that guy about? Or what's that girl about? What's going on over there? No, I'm talking about being respectable in the sense of being a good, shiny cog in a machine. And that's where niceness gets you. So these are all the reasons why being nice is such a destructive term. It's a destructive thing to embody, because it keeps out the other aspects of human life, the other aspects of life in general, from entering in. It shields and walls off the whole other side of this facade of niceness. It keeps out suffering. It keeps out pain. It keeps out, what life's all about. As a human being, what life's all about. Now, real quick, I want to look up the etymology of nice. So 1 second. Nice etymology. All right. I got nice, late 13th century, foolish, ignorant, frivolous, senseless. From Old French, 12th century, careless, clumsy, weak, poor, needy, simple, stupid, silly, foolish. From the Latin, my Latin's not good, nescius, ignorant, unaware, literally not knowing. From ni, not, and stem of sere, to know, to not to know. So there you go. It's right there in the etymology. The term nice literally means ignorant and unaware, careless, clumsy, weak, poor, needy, simple, stupid, silly, foolish, frivolous, senseless, ignorant. That's it. So I didn't even know that before I made this video. I had no idea that that's what the root of nice is. And that makes perfect sense. So society's literally taken that term and inverted it and created this whole facade. Be nice, be nice, nice, be nice. Make sure you're nice. You go over to this house, or you go over to do this, you go over to that. How many times did you hear that when you were a child? It was so hammered. At least for me, it was. And I know it was probably for you as well. So nice actually means, right? The word nice, ignorant, senseless, foolish, cowardice, probably. You can throw cowardice in there. There you go. So society's taken this term, inverted it, and fed it to us as this virtuous thing. I mean, they use the term virtuous in this definition of nice, virtuous. And, and I know I kind of was harsh on the term virtuous, but virtue in and of itself implies to me being just living morally, living virtue, not moral excellence. You see what the mouthfeel, the taste of what that moral excellence. You see, no, virtue means moral to me. Virtue means moral, just living in alignment with morality, just living a moral life, not as a concept, not as an idea, not as something to be obtained somewhere in the future, morally right now. I understand my connection with all things. I live in alignment and harmony with my environment. There you go. I'm doing all that I can to establish and maintain balance within and without myself. Okay? That's what virtue means. Truly, true virtue. So they threw virtue into this definition of nice, right? So nice isn't what we think it is. Bottom line, nice isn't what you think it is, being nice. We need to eliminate this whole concept from the depths of our psyche. If we are to get through it, past it, and see what's on the other side. Or just live life in reality. Face truth. Face the truth, the facts of what is actually taking place right now. Beyond the facade of niceness, what lies beneath? What lies beneath the facade of niceness? What lies beneath the mask? Because everyone's walking around being nice, but what's actually taking place inside? That's what I want to know. And for the most part, I feel like I got it figured out. For the most part, I feel like I got it figured out when it comes to most people. Because we're always overcompensating for something. We're always covering something up. We're always shielding and armoring ourselves from keeping people out, especially ourselves. We're keeping ourselves away from ourselves. And we don't want anybody else to disturb us when it comes to that. Disturb those facades, all those different layers that we've put up between us and reality. So we got to crush through. We got to power through and crush through this whole, facade of niceness. We have to learn how to express and harness anger, feel pain, feel suffering, walk the flame, walk through the fires of hell to reach our power, our gift, to reach what we are, our truest nature spiritually. Who we are. Who are you? Are you just this nice guy, nice girl? I just want to fit in. I just want to be pleased. I just want to be happy. I just want to feel, I just want to feel good all the time. That's not life. And if you want to feel good all the time, you want to pretend like everything's okay, you want to pretend like everything's happy and everything's great, then continue being nice and see how far it gets you. But again, we have to dissolve this idea, this concept, this thing that society has developed, that we have developed through our ignorance, through our senselessness, through our foolishness, this idea of niceness. Because back in the day, it meant quite the opposite of what it means today. And again, all these terms, if I broke down all these terms, polite, kind, pleasing, agreeable, if I broke down all these terms, they'd probably all be foolishness, cowardice, ignorance. We're lost. It's like we played a game. It's like we played a game of Scrabble and we got lost in the words. That's for another video. Words, they're powerful tools to learn, to grow, and to reach our true potential and to reach what we are actually here to do and actually here to embody and actually here to be. But we're constantly lost in them, and we see everything as a word, as a symbol, as this, as that. So we never actually feel and perceive and truly understand what it means to live because we're lost in definitions. So that's for another video. But I appreciate y'all seeing through this. And I think I might go into more words in future videos. So stop being nice. Stop being nice and be yourself. Be yourself, because niceness has nothing to do with being who you actually are. Be raw. Be authentic. Just be. Live. Breathe. Unapologetically. Express yourself fully in every single moment. Do your best. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.